Welcome back to our channel. Today, we delve into the extraordinary life of Robert Stack, the man behind the legendary Eliot Ness from the Untouchables TV series. Celebrated for his commanding presence and memorable portrayal of one of America's most iconic crime fighters, Stack left an unforgettable mark on television history. But behind the badge and larger-than-life persona lies the real Robert Stack, a life filled with surprising twists, personal revelations, and unwavering passion for his craft. From a privileged upbringing to a Hollywood career that defied expectations, and from behind-the-scenes stories to enduring controversies, Stack's journey is every bit as fascinating as the cases he solved on screen. Join us as we uncover the hidden chapters of Robert Stack's remarkable life and lasting legacy. 1. Childhood. Born on January 15, 1919, in Los Angeles, California, Robert Stack entered the world with the kind of family ties that set him up for a unique and sometimes turbulent childhood. His mother, Elizabeth Modini Woodstack, originally hoped to name him after her father, Charles Langford Modini, while his father, James Langford Stack, a well-known millionaire sportsman and advertising executive, had different ideas and soon changed his son's name to Robert. Not long after he was born, his parents divorced, and Stack's mother took him to Europe, where his first words were in French and Italian. This early bilingual experience, plus his mother's regular appearances at high society events, exposed him to a cosmopolitan lifestyle. Even though his father remained in Los Angeles, Robert's family was by no means ordinary. His great-great-grandfather owned the Orpheum, one of the first theaters in LA, and several relatives were accomplished opera singers. It's fair to say the arts ran in his blood. When Robert returned to Los Angeles in 1925, he had to learn English from scratch, an experience that might have been challenging for a young boy, but it gave him a worldly perspective. Around this time, his parents reconciled and remarried, attempting to bring some stability back into his life. Still, the influences of Europe lingered, and he blended that sophistication with the high-energy environment of LA during the roaring 1920s. As he grew older, Robert developed a love for sports, particularly trap and skeet shooting. It seems natural, given that his father was known for his enthusiasm for athletics, but few expected Robert to become so talented at such a young age. By his teenage years, he was not only participating in competitive shooting events but also placing impressively high and even setting records, no small feat for a boy who had only recently acclimated to a new language and culture. These early achievements foreshadowed the determined spirit that would later define Robert Stack's Hollywood career. Surrounded by a vibrant family legacy in the arts, a father with a sporting pedigree, and a mother deeply involved in local society, Robert's childhood was anything but typical. It was a formative time that shaped his discipline, introduced him to diverse cultures, and sparked the unwavering confidence he would carry on to movie sets and beyond. Even before he discovered acting, Robert Stack was already honing the focus and drive that would make him one of the most memorable figures in the entertainment industry. 2. Family. Robert Stack's family background wasn't just well-to-do, it was downright influential in early Los Angeles society. His father, James Langford Stack, was hailed in newspapers as a millionaire sportsman and served as an advertising executive with a flair for social events. Meanwhile, his mother, Elizabeth Modini Woodstack, moved in some of the city's most exclusive circles, frequently appearing at high-profile galas and charity functions. It was an atmosphere of prestige and connection, but one that also mixed artistic lineage into the equation. Robert's great-great-grandfather owned the Orpheum, one of Los Angeles's very first theaters, and several relatives on his mother's side performed as opera singers, most notably Metropolitan Opera baritone Richard Bonelli. Despite that high-society lifestyle, James and Elizabeth's relationship didn't run smoothly at first. They divorced soon after Robert's birth. This upheaval led Elizabeth to take Robert to Europe, a move that would shape his early childhood. Yet, in 1928, the couple reunited and got remarried, attempting to restore a sense of unity for their son. Though the family situation may have been complicated, the artistic and social influence passed down through the generations left an indelible mark on Robert. Growing up with relatives who regularly performed on prestigious stages and a father who was as renowned for his wealth as he was for his sporting pursuits introduced Robert to two distinct worlds, the glitz of show business and the competitive spirit of high-level athletics. This dynamic family background proved pivotal in molding Robert Stack's later ambitions. It wasn't just a matter of being well-connected, he witnessed firsthand how discipline, artistry, and public image could come together to forge a remarkable career path. Whether it was through his mother's socially prominent circles or the deep-rooted legacy of theater and opera in his family tree, the seeds of Robert's eventual success in Hollywood were planted long before he ever stepped onto a film set. Those early ties to both creativity and ambition would become defining features of his life and career, helping him transition from the child of a wealthy advertising executive to one of the most recognizable faces on American television. 3. Career. Robert Stack's career path was anything but ordinary, shaped from the start by his remarkable marksmanship, a stint at the University of Southern California, and early encounters with Hollywood's biggest names. Even before he set foot on a film set, Stack was already breaking records in trap and skeet shooting, at one point managing over 350 consecutive hits, an achievement that earned him recognition as a first-team All-American by the National Skeet Shooting Association. His athletic skill extended to polo during his time at USC, where he stood out on the university's team. Meanwhile, socializing with legends like Clark Gable, Carole Lombard, Spencer Tracy, and Gary Cooper piqued his interest in the dramatic arts. The turning point came when he decided to leave college and study acting at Henry Duffy's school, paving the way for him to join the El Capitan Players in 1938. His stage roles in Pride and Prejudice and First Lady, performed at the Los Palmas Theater, quickly garnered critical acclaim, foreshadowing the success that lay ahead. In 1939, Stack's film career took off when he signed a contract with Universal Pictures. The studio recognized his potential after a screen test alongside actress Helen Parrish, and he made a memorable debut in First Love, 1939, opposite Deanna Durbin, creating buzz with a much-publicized on-screen kiss. Critics were impressed, dubbing him one of the year's most promising dramatic discoveries. However, his rising trajectory was interrupted by World War II, during which he served as a U.S. Navy aerial gunnery instructor. He spent 6 years away from film, and upon returning in 1948, he found himself struggling to regain momentum. Early post-war projects like A Date with Judy, Miss Tatlock's Millions, and My Outlaw Brother didn't exactly catapult him to stardom, but he persevered. Before long, he gained traction in more noteworthy roles such as a bullfighter in Bud Boeticher's Bullfighter and a Lady, 1951, and an adventurer in the 3D film Unforgettable, 1952. Yet it was the mid-1950s that truly showcased Stack's range. He stepped into complex roles in films like The High and the Mighty, playing a focused airline pilot, and delivered an Oscar-nominated performance as a troubled alcoholic millionaire in Written on the Wind. Notably, he also played a daring barnstorming flyer in The Tarnished Angels. Then, in 1959, he moved to television and took on the role that would define his public persona, Eliot Ness in The Untouchables. This portrayal of a stern, relentless Prohibition-era lawman won him an Emmy and cemented his image as the embodiment of calm authority. Despite the widespread acclaim for The Untouchables, the show did face its share of controversies. Critics voiced concerns about the depiction of violence, arguing that its gritty realism went beyond what primetime audiences were used to. Network executives and sponsors debated the program's content, worried that graphic portrayals of gangland activities could spark backlash from conservative viewers. However, Robert Stack's stern yet charismatic performance often overshadowed these issues, keeping the series at the top of the ratings. In interviews, Stack deftly navigated questions about the show's intensity, emphasizing the historical context and moral message behind capturing criminals during the Prohibition era. Although it risked typecasting him, Stack managed to explore different avenues in television, starring in shows like The Name of the Game, where he played an FBI agent turned magazine editor, and Most Wanted, which cast him once again in a crime-fighting role. By the late 1970s, Stack surprised audiences with his comedic flair in Steven Spielberg's 1941 and the iconic spoof Airplane, effectively poking fun at the stoic, unwavering characters he had portrayed for most of his career. While his self-parody in 1941 and Airplane caught audiences off guard, it wasn't the only time Stack surprised fans by poking fun at his own serious persona. In 1986, he provided the voice of the Autobot leader Ultra Magnus in the animated classic The Transformers, the movie, showcasing a capacity for voice work that many viewers found both unexpected and delightful. A decade later, he took a comedic turn as a hard-nosed federal agent in the cult favorite animated film Beavis and Butt-Head Do America, 1996. These cameo and voice acting appearances, far removed from the sullen roles he was famous for, demonstrated his playful willingness to break type, broadening his appeal to younger generations and cementing his legacy as an actor who could excel in almost any medium. In the twilight of his professional life, he continued to appear on television, most notably as the calm, deep-voiced host of Unsolved Mysteries. He even revisited his famous lawman persona in the 1991 TV movie The Return of Eliot Ness. From crackshot sportsman to Emmy-winning actor, Robert Stack's winding journey through Hollywood exemplified versatility, resilience, and a willingness to embrace new challenges, ensuring that his legacy would be remembered by generations of fans and fellow performers alike. Beyond his on-screen achievements, Stack also made time for philanthropic endeavors, though he rarely sought the spotlight for them. He participated in benefit events for children's hospitals in Los Angeles and supported veteran-related causes, no doubt influenced by his own service in the Navy. Occasionally, he even appeared at USO tours, helping boost morale among active-duty military members. These charitable commitments, while not as headline-grabbing as his television or film roles, painted a portrait of a man who recognized his privilege and aimed to use his platform for the greater good. Surprisingly, for a star who moved in such high-profile circles and enjoyed a long career in Hollywood, Robert Stack managed to steer clear of the kind of scandals that often plagued his contemporaries. Despite his appearances in gossip columns, much of the attention centered around his social life, specifically the women he was seen dating before he eventually settled down. Given the era, it wasn't uncommon for rising actors, especially those deemed tall, handsome, and charming, to be linked to various starlets or socialites. In Stack's case, these mentions in Hollywood columns were more about high society intrigue than any genuine controversy, and they rarely escalated into full-blown media storms. It seems that while certain publications enjoyed speculating about his personal life, Stack himself stayed largely unruffled by the rumors and consistently focused on refining his craft. Compared to other leading men of the day who fell into well-documented public dramas, Stack's record was refreshingly free of major disputes or reputation-damaging incidents. This sense of stability, coupled with his gentlemanly public persona, bolstered his appeal, allowing him to maintain a polished image that resonated with both fans and industry insiders. Ultimately, if there was any scandal at all, it was simply that he was the kind of eligible Hollywood bachelor who attracted attention wherever he went, rather than a star mired in controversy. 5. Marriage. By the mid-1950s, Robert Stack had become a familiar face not just for his burgeoning film roles but also for his appearances in Hollywood social columns, often accompanied by stunning actresses and socialites of the day. The media, always eager to spotlight a leading man's romantic pursuits, routinely linked him with various high-profile women, yet none of these relationships stirred any real controversy. Then, on January 23, 1956, he surprised many in the industry by marrying actress Rosemary Bowe, who was herself on the rise in 1950s Hollywood with roles in films like The Peacemaker. The wedding drew attention for uniting two up-and-coming talents into a single Hollywood power couple, but once the initial excitement settled, the Stacks embraced a relatively private domestic life. They welcomed two children soon after, Elizabeth in 1957 and a son in 1958, rounding out what many saw as an ideal Tinseltown family. In an era when so many celebrity marriages were short-lived or fraught with scandal, Robert and Rosemary's enduring union proved refreshingly steady. Far from the tabloid-fueled drama of the day, they managed to balance their work in show business with a quiet, supportive home life, an achievement that would keep them together for nearly half a century. 6. Other relationships. Beyond his immediate family, Robert Stack forged lasting friendships and professional bonds with some of Hollywood's most iconic figures, including Clark Gable, Spencer Tracy, Gary Cooper, Fred MacMurray, and Carole Lombard, all of whom provided both camaraderie and invaluable insights into the industry. Lombard, in particular, played a pivotal role early in his career when they appeared together in Ernst Lubitsch's classic To Be or Not to Be, a film that, despite being briefly overshadowed by World War II, helped solidify Stack's reputation as a versatile talent. Meanwhile, the guidance of producers and directors such as Henry Duffy, who mentored Stack at his acting school, and Bud Boetticher, who entrusted him with a leading role in Bullfighter and a Lady, served as vital stepping stones in broadening Stack's range and on-screen presence. These connections not only opened doors for him but also gave him the confidence to explore genres ranging from serious drama to offbeat comedy. It's clear that the friendships he cultivated and the support he received from influential industry veterans helped shape Robert Stack's trajectory, giving him a stronger foothold in a competitive field and ultimately contributing to his enduring legacy as a respected actor in television. Host. Beyond the legendary figures already mentioned, Stack also cultivated friendships with emerging stars of the era, occasionally inviting them to observe his trap shooting sessions, a sport in which he remained highly competitive. Younger actors and actresses often praised his willingness to share advice, ranging from on-set etiquette to navigating the ever-shifting Hollywood landscape. His acquaintances even extended into the music industry, where he rubbed shoulders with bandleaders and composers who admired his refined taste and social finesse. This broader network not only expanded his cultural horizons but also reinforced his image as someone who could move seamlessly between the worlds of film, music, and high society. 7. Death. In 2002, Robert Stack was diagnosed with prostate cancer and underwent radiation therapy, a period marked by a quieter presence in the public eye as he focused on his health. Tragically, on May 14, 2003, he passed away from heart failure at his Los Angeles home, leaving behind a legacy that defied easy categorization. Although he never quite achieved the megastar status of some of his peers, Stack's impact on both film and television remained undeniable. From his celebrated role as the no-nonsense Eliot Ness, a performance that won him an Emmy, to his steady, reassuring presence as host of Unsolved Mysteries, he carved out an indelible niche in popular culture. Fans remember him not just for his stern, upright characters but also for the dry humor he displayed in comedic turns like Airplane and 1941. Widely respected for his professionalism and willingness to embrace a variety of genres, he earned a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the admiration of countless viewers who grew up watching him. Even after his passing, Robert Stack's enduring contributions to entertainment live on, underscoring the range and depth of an actor who, despite avoiding the highest peaks of stardom, left a legacy that continues to fascinate audiences around the world. And that wraps up our deep dive into the hidden life of Robert Stack, the man who brought Eliot Ness to life for millions of viewers. His unforgettable work on The Untouchables remains a touchstone in TV history, yet his personal story is just as captivating. Thank you for joining us on this journey behind the scenes of Hollywood's golden age. If you found today's video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more compelling looks into the lives of entertainment's most iconic figures. Until next time, take care, and keep exploring the untold stories that shaped our cultural landscape.